الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي امري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي سبحانك لا علم لنا الا ما علمتنا اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما اللهم اجعل اعمالنا خالصة لوجهك ولا تجعل فيها حظا لغيرك امين يا رب العالمين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. How's everyone doing today? It's really nice to be back. I see the people taking an extra holiday. But inshallah I'll make dua today that they may speak with us. Ameen. Once again we start with the praises of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and all praise be to Him. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to divine salutations on our beloved Nabi Mohamed sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to have woken up this morning. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to have a roof over our heads. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to have had something to eat this morning before having food in our homes. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our families that are intact. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our limbs, being able to see, being able to hear, being able to speak, the intellect that is working perfectly, the heart that is beating. Subhanallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has even taken the responsibility of our hearts beating and not given us that responsibility. Imagine at the time you sleep, you forget, don't wake up the next morning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made it so easy for us to do what we are requested to do, and is worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us to be part of the ummah of our beloved Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we wake up and we remind ourselves of this beautiful dua that our beloved has taught us. Alhamdulillah alladhi أحيانا بعدما أماتنا وإليه النشور. To Him is our return. May our return to Him be a beautiful one. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our efforts of coming out. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that there are a select few of those who are grateful to Him. وَقَلِيلٌ قَلِيل, a few min ibadi of my slaves, الشَّكُور, that fall into the category of those that show gratitude to Him and that are grateful for the favors that He has bestowed upon them. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us of those few. And that's very important to remind yourselves of the favors that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you, so that it can ignite within you that desire to be grateful for the gifts, and so that you can be of those that are grateful. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Also the beautiful dua that we started last month, Allahumma barik lana fi Rajab, which is fast, Sha'ban, Allah bless us in this month of Sha'ban, wa balighna Ramadan, Allah grant us to see the month of Ramadan. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Okay, we're busy with Surah Al-Hajj, and I think we're busy with verse number 15. Just going back a few verses, we need to context what we are busy with. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala firstly speaks about those who worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the edge. They worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the edge. If good comes their way, then they're happy and they're good and they do what they need to do. And if bad comes their way, then they turn the other way. I mean, الناس من يعبد الله على حرف. There are those that worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the edge. فإن أصابه خير اطمأن به. When good comes to him, he's happy, he's content. His soul is content and everything is happy. وإن أصابته فتنة انقلب على وجهه. But if bad comes his way, then he turns around completely 360 degrees and he gives up whatever that he was trying to maintain of his iman and of his deen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from having that type of iman. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us unshakable iman. No matter what comes our way, that our response is that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we come, and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will we return. In verse number 14, before we start the next verse, which is number 15, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then emphasizes and He continuously gives us that hope, that don't be of this category, rather be of the other category, be of the category that is going to be entered into Jannah. Inna alladhina amanu. Inna Allaha yudkhilu alladhina amanu. Indeed Allah enters those who believe, wa amilu salihat, and who do good righteous deeds. These two are always coupled together, iman and action. It's never divorced. Throughout Quran, when Allah speaks about iman, it's coupled with action. The iman needs to show on our limbs. The iman needs to show on our limbs. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that Inna Allah la yanduru ila ajsamikum, that Allah doesn't look at your bodies, wala suwarikum, and your shapes, walakin yanduru ila qulubikum, He looks at your heart, He looks into your heart, wa a'malikum, and the actions that come therefrom. So there's two categories here that we spoke about. Those that are worshipping Allah at the edge. When good comes their way, they're happy. No, I love my Allah and I love my Rasul and I love my deen. And when difficulty comes their way, then they turn away completely from the deen. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, rather those who maintain the iman and they continue doing good deeds, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enters them into Jannah. تجري من تحتها الأنهار, the rivers flowing beneath it. إن الله يفعل ما يريد, and Allah does that which He pleases. I remember we went into some of the grammar rules here, alhamdulillah as well. We've got to focus on that for a little bit. Okay, so verse number 15. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So we start off with the ta'awudh, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَإِذَا قَرَأْتَ الْقُرْآنَ فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. That when you read the Quran, seek protection from shaitan the cursed. And beautifully we start with the basmala. The importance of the basmala again is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the most beautiful names. فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا, so call Him by it. Invoke that particular quality of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whether it is rahmah or whether it is whatever quality that you're invoking. And whenever you start with the basmala, you start reading the Quran, we're invoking that quality of Ar-Rahman, the most merciful, and Ar-Rahim, especially merciful, meaning that we're about to enter in your Quran, shower us with your mercy. You will find that you enter the masjid, Allah maftahli abawaba rahmatik. We wish to draw Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy. So we make dua inshallah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whilst we are reading His word, that He showers us with His mercies. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Man kana yadhunnu, man, whomsoever, kana yadhunnu, he thinks. Man kana yadhunnu, whomsoever thinks, and that lay yansurahu Allahu, whoever thinks that Allah will not assist him. So this is firstly directed at Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his mission. Rasulullah had a mission, Rasulullah was doing, Rasulullah made effort, and they were saying at different stages by the various Qur'ans, when his son died, they said his abatal, his legacy will not continue because his lineage is cut off. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals a surah about Abu Lahab who says this, Inna shani'aka wal abada, rather your enemy, he's the one that's cut off and will not be remembered. And through every difficult time that Rasulullah went through, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforted him. In this particular case, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is speaking to those who are still against the opponents of Islam. Man kana yadhunnu, whomsoever thinks, allayhi yansurahu Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not assist him, from the word nasara. Nasara yansuru, lan yansura, lan puts the word in halat al-nasb. Lan lay, never, that Allah will never assist him, Rasulullah fi dunya, in this world, wal akhirah, and in the year after, then he should do something. So what is the request of what he should do? There's two tafsir on this particular response. The one tafsir is very severe, and the other one is a bit easier. So فَلْيَمْدُدَ, we'll notice, okay, فَلْيَمْدُدَ means he should extend بِسَبَبٍ a rope. بِسَبَبٍ a rope. We're not going to translate it directly and literally. We say بِسَبَبٍ, B means with a rope, okay, also, but he should extend a rope إِلَى السَّمَاءِ, to the sky. ثُمَّ, then, I'm first going to give you the word for word translation, and then I'll explain what is being said. ثُمَّ, then, ثُمَّ لِيَقْطَعْ, he should cut, he should sever. I'll explain what is speaking about here. فَلْيَنْظُرْ, so he should look. هَلْ يُذْهِبَنَّ, does go away or does leave. To leave. What is leaving? كَيْدُهُ, his plan or his plot. مَا يُغِيظ, that which is enraging him or infuriating him, or so on and so forth. So the two tafsirs that speak about this particular verse, the one is an easier one. The other one is very intense. So a person who thinks that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to assist him, he should then go to the sky and he should, with a rope, and he should cut off the connection between Allah and His Rasul. He should go up, he should go to the sky, and he should cut off that connection. Meaning, it's not possible. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to continue communicating with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah will fulfill his mission. And as we see, the end result was that he fulfilled his mission, alhamdulillah. Surah Fath was revealed, إِذَا جَاءَ نَصْرُ اللَّهِ وَالْفَتْحِ, when the victory and the assistance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes. So رَأَيْتَ النَّاسَ يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. And you see people coming into the deen in groups and in rows. And this is the reality that happened. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave Rasulullah the response. When you see that happen, what does he do? أَسَبِّحْ بِحَمْدِ رَبِّكَ. You make the speak of your Lord. You show the greatness of your Lord. وَاسْتَغْفِرْ, and seek His forgiveness. إِنَّهُ كَانَ تَوَّابًا. So consistently Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was assisting him. This was a warning to those who were against it. Go into the sky, cut off that connection, and see if you doing that is going to change the course of action. That's frustrating you. Let's see if you try and do this, is it going to change the course of action? Meaning, the objective here was, it's not forward. You know, Islam is moving forward. You still fighting against Islam, speaking to the Quraysh. Get on board and be part and parcel of it. The other tafsir speaks about one using a rope, and they're using the word, the word sama is the roof, and using a rope and tying it to the roof and basically hanging yourself, cutting yourself, strangling yourself. If you so feel that Allah doesn't need to happen, you just make away with your life, because the reality is that this deed of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to continue. So that's the other tafsir that is mentioned over here. But either way, the point and the objective of the verse is to say that Islam is going to continue. And I think it's to a certain degree, it's very applicable and kind of as a bit of consolation, if I could say, in the time that we are facing, with all the killings and the bombings, and we just came from the Christchurch incident where so many Muslims were killed, to the Sri Lanka bombing now, who did it, is still busy with the claims of ISIS and so on and so forth. It's getting really, really bad. It's getting very, very bad. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you really think that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to assist Rasulullah, an extension of Rasulullah is the believers that follow him. Then number one, try to disconnect us from this book, and also has guided us to the book. That's going to be a means of guidance for us. And the other tafsir, as I said, kill yourself, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to allow this deed to flourish. That's the reality of it. In another verse in Surah Saf, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يُرِيدُونَ لِيُطْفِئُوا نُورَ اللَّهِ بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ. They want to extinguish the nur of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by various means. The one means over here, بِأَفْوَاهِهِمْ, with their mouths. وَاللَّهُ مُتِمُّ نُورِهِ. But Allah will continue completing His nur, وَلَوْ كَرِهَ الْكَافِرُونَ, even though the disbelievers, they dislike it. They dislike it. No one feel confident about your Iman. No one feel confident about your Islam. No one feel confident about being a Muslim. Even in these difficult times, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will allow Islam to reign supreme. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easier on those that have passed on in this past period with the bombings and everything that has been happening. وَكَذَلِكَ, and like that, وَكَذَلِكَ, like that, أَنزَلْنَاهُ, we have revealed, أَنزَلْنَاهُ, it, آيَاتٍ, signs or verses, بَيِّنَاتٍ, clear signs or clear verses. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ, and that indeed Allah, يَهْدِي, that He guides, with yurid, whosoever He wills. Just going back to, before we go into the next verse, just going back to the verse that we discussed now. Another point of discussion, and this is directly related to the Hajj actually. I mean, we're busy with Surah Hajj. We know that when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the Sahaba went on Hajj, they were barred from going on Hajj. I don't even recall the story. So they were barred, they were stopped, they wanted to go, they were not allowed to go, and there were certain agreements that were made. And the agreements initially To the Sahaba, they couldn't understand it, they couldn't handle it, they said, we came all this way. For anyone that has gone on the journey, we go by a plane, we go by a bus, and even that is tiring. Riding on a bus trip, and for those that went up Jabal Nur, it's quite intense. They walked from Medina all the way to Makkah. Then they got to a place called Hudaybiyah, and someone came out and told him, you're not allowed to come, you have to come next year. What? Next year? And then Uthman was sent, and there's certain agreements that were made. And as a result of that, there was a treaty that was made that you will come next year, and if anyone comes to you to become Muslim, you need to send them back. And if someone of your people comes to us, we don't have to send them back. We can. The agreements were crazy. And Umar radiallahu anhu says, this is the one of the times that Umar struck out. But aren't we on the haq? What is going on? We supposed to. And he was upset, and he went to Abu Bakr and he went to this one. And Rasulullah came out, and Rasulullah said, sacrifice your animal, we're going back. And nobody, it was the first time that nobody responded to Rasulullah. Rasulullah was even shocked. Subhanallah. And a beautiful something to look at this particular point is Rasulullah goes to his wife. To his wife, subhanallah, and asks her, what must I do? The Sahaba, I'm telling you, must stop, we need to go back. And they're not listening. What must I do? We can't go. We signed the treaty. It's time to. And she advised him beautifully. And may our wives be that to us, advising, giving beautiful advice. Inshallah, may the wives be comforts for their husbands and the coolness of their eyes. Ya Rabbal Alameen. But he says, oh messenger, go out and you shave your head, and go out and you sacrifice and they will follow you. They're looking at you. They want to see what you're going to do, and they will do it. So he went out and he shaved his head and he sacrificed, and immediately everyone else followed suit. The point that I want to bring here is they went through a very difficult time. A time when they walked from Medina to go on Hajj, to go on Umrah, and they were barred, they were stopped. The treaty that was made the agreement was, it seemed like it was out of balance completely. But Rasulullah, he agreed to it because there was something greater in store. They only went on to this journey because of a dream that he had. There was a dream that they were going on Hajj. And the dream of the Anbiya is wahi, it's true. So he knew this must happen. And subhanAllah, as a result of that treaty that happened, when they went back, Islam, they grew even bigger. And the next year when they came, they were so big that it wasn't even a fight. And that's when Fathu Makkah happened. So again, based on this verse, if you think that Allah is not going to assist Rasulullah, and you think Allah is not going to assist His deen, and you think Allah is not going to assist us, then do what you must do to yourself. But the deen is going to continue. The deen is going to continue. And beautifully related to the Hajj, that we see what's happening today. Hundreds and thousands of people are going on this journey. وَكَذَلِكَ أَنزَلْنَاهُ آيَاتٍ بَيِّنَاتٍ. Allah says, like that we have sent down clear signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowing this deen to reign supreme. وَأَنَّ اللَّهَ يَهْدِي. And that Allah guides man yurid, whomsoever He wills. Again, guidance is in the hands of Allah. We note that every single salah we are asking for guidance. It is very important that we connect to the dua that we are making. We can't expect guidance if there's no connection to the dua. So for a moment, reflect on your salah. How is your salah? Is your salah connected or is it disconnected? Is it up, down, touch the ground, or is it actually making a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? It's important because every salah we ask is ihdina. Allah guides whom He wills. Allah is going to guide the one that's calling for guidance. So in the salah, Surah Fatiha, is there a connection to it or not? When you ask ihdina, the word ihdina, I think I mentioned this, comes from the word hidayah and also hadiyah. Hidayah means guidance, hadiyah means to give a gift. So you ask not only for guidance, but you ask Allah gift me to be on this path. But the connection must be there. If that's the only verse we're able to focus on, then focus on it because when you ask, you need to know what you're asking. When you ask, you need to be sincere in your asking. When you ask, you need to be directing your answer, your question, your asking to the person that you're speaking to. So it's very, very important. If Allah says that He guides whom He will, there's no guidance, hands in the hands, lands in the hands of Allah, sorry man. And we have to be connected. We have to be connected 17 times a day. The Fara'id equals to 17 times. We are asking for this. There must be a connection when asking it, inshallah. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the different groups in the next verse. Inna alladhina amanu. Again, those who believe, indeed, those who believe. Walladhina hadu. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about the Jews. Those who are Jews. Wasabi'in, Sabians. They were another group of people. Wal Nasara, the Christians. Wal Majus. Who were the Majus? The Majus were the fire worshippers, the Zoroastrians. The Zoroastrian is one who they used to worship the fire. وَالَّذِينَ أَشْرَكُوا, those who commit shirk, idolaters. So those who still commit shirk. So here Allah is putting all the parts together. And Allah is about to say something about him. Inna Allah, what about him? What about the believers? What about the Jews? What about the Nasara? What about all these groups? What about him? Inna Allah, indeed Allah, yafsil. Allah will separate, differentiate. Allah subhanahu will be the one that makes that judgment call. Bainahum, between them, Yawm al-Qiyamah. So this is so important, number one, into which group you fall. Alhamdulillah, we fall into the category of believers. But even amongst the believers are going to be divided into categories as well. It's a reminder about the reality of the day of Qiyamah. Yes.
Who are the Saviors?
The Saviors, there's different discussions on who they were. But like the Ad, it's the people of the past. The Thamud were people of the past. The Saviors were also a group of people, and they had their own form of worship. And they were a group. I'm not too sure if they were in the time of Rasulullah or not. We can do some more research as to exactly who they were, inshallah.
And the Magians are the fire worship.
The Magians are the fire worshippers, also known as the Zoroastrians.
Are they not the same as the Zarathustra?
Sorry?
Zarathustra.
I don't know.
Worship fire.
I don't know. I'm not too sure.
The Majus refers to fire worship.
When you see as a fire worshipper, yes, fire worshippers are. So anyway, these groups are going to be brought together, and only the one that finds himself among the group of believers are going to be the one that is saved, number one. Then number two, amongst the believers there are going to be different categories. There's going to be those that had name but no action. There's going to be those that had action, but inside there wasn't true belief. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala discusses these people in the Quran. There's a category of the munafiqeen, the hypocrites. Say one thing, but actions are contrary to what they say. Say I'm a Muslim, but there's no action connected to it. So again, on the left Qiyamah, people will be distinguished by their iman and their actions. Rasulullah in a beautiful lengthy hadith, he speaks about how he's going to be the leader on the day of judgment, and then people will gather, and they will see the Anbiya, they will all run to each Anbiya. They will go to the Anbiya and they say, you were the first of creation, and you were this and you were that, and intercede for us. And then he says, Nabi Adam, who was a Nabi, Nabi Adam, who was a one that Allah says Allah is forgiven in the Quran. He says, I was forbade from eating from the tree. And I ate from the tree. And I don't know what my position is by Allah today. So he says, Nafsi, Nafsi, Nafsi. I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid for myself. Go to one of the other prophets. He says, go to Nabi Nuh. So they go to Nabi Nuh and they say, oh Nuh, you were the first of messengers, and you were known as Abdul Shakur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala named him Abdul Shakur because he was for the 950 years of giving da'wah. He was consistent. He was one that was grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Intercede fast. And he says there was a particular dua that I made against my people. This is after 900 years of da'wah. 950 years of people not listening. He makes a dua against these people, and as a result of the dua, people are wiped out. And even when the people are wiped out, he still said, if whoever wants to be saved, to get on the boat. His wife didn't make sense, his son didn't say. He says, through that dua that I made against my people, I don't know my condition by Allah. Nafsi, Nafsi, Nafsi. I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid of myself. Go to one of the other prophets. Go to Musa alayhi salam. So they go to Musa. I think it's first Ibrahim and then Musa. They go to Ibrahim alayhi salam and they say to Ibrahim, you are Khalilullah, you are the friend of Allah. They name some virtues about Ibrahim. Ishfa' lana, intercede for us by our Lord today. And he says, there was 3 times that I lied. He says I lied. And Rasulullah in the hadith says he didn't lie. There's explanation for what he said. The 3 times I lied. And it wasn't a lie. And he says, as a result of the 3 times I lied, I don't know my condition for Allah. Nafsi. I'm afraid for myself. I'm afraid for myself. The 3 times was when the time to go to Surah, his wife. There was a king that if the king found that the man had a beautiful wife, he took the wife. Ajib. Those are the crazy people of the past. So he goes to the king, he knows the king is going to say this, he tells the king, no, it's my sister, meaning it's my sister Islam. He goes back to Surah, he says, Surah, we are the only two believers on this earth, and I said you are my sister, meaning my sister Islam, don't contradict my word. And she does that. I'm not going to go into the rest of the story. Beautiful story as to how Hajar gets involved with it. And the second thing is, when he was young, and the idol worship, and they all going to go out and eat and celebrate and so on and so forth, and he says, in his Saqib, I'm sick. There's different ways of being sick. Can be emotionally sick or mentally sick or he could get sick for you. So he was sick of it. And he said in his Saqib. And then the third one was, he broke the idols and he put the axe on the biggest one, and he said, they asked, who did this? And he said, the biggest one did this. Now, look at the 3. You are my sister in Islam. I am sick. I'm sick of you. I'm sick. And no, the biggest one did it. Obviously, if you say something like that, you're saying it rhetoric, you're saying it, as in a mocking way. And he says, based on those 3 things, I don't know my position today. Nafsi. Subhanallah. Eventually they come to Nabi Muhammad sallallahu and Rasulullah says, Ummati. He cries for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them to intercede. So, the point I'm trying to make here is, yes, there's going to be differentiation between all the groups, and the believers are going to be in one camp, but even the believers will be separated. We need to ensure that day we are safe. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us safe on the day of Qiyamah. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. And again, the beauty of connecting it to the surah, Al-Hajj Mabroor, a correct righteous Hajj, لَيْسَ لَهُ الْجَزَاء. There is no reward for that person إِلَّا الْجَنَّةِ except Jannah. Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant all those that have gone and Hajj Mabroor, that all those that wish to go, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them to go, grant them Hajj Mabroor and Mabroor as well. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Inna Allah yafsilu baynahum yawm al-qiyamah. Indeed, Allah distinguishes or separates between them on the day of Qiyamah. Inna Allah, indeed Allah, ala kulli shay'in, over everything is shaheed, is witness to what is happening. Is witness to every action that is happening. Okay, beautiful verse to come now. I think is it the end of this verse, Sajda? Yes. Okay. When we do read the verse, it's recommended to make sajda for those who do have wudu. At the end of this verse, we will make sajda, inshallah. So the way of performing the sajda is you make takbir al-ihram, you say Allahu Akbar, and this is if you're going into salah. And then thereafter you make another takbir into the prostration, and you can make your normal dua, whatever dua you feel fit, Subhan Rabbi al-A'la wa hamdi, or is it specific dua when making the sajda of tilawah, and thereafter you make takbir to sit up, and you make taslim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So this would be in response to the verse that we are currently reading. There are 14 places in the Holy Quran where it is recommended to make sajda. Subhanallah, there was an incident where one of the verses of sajda was being, the ayat were being read by Rasulullah, and one of the disbelievers came to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he was debating with Rasulullah was reading, and he was so mesmerized by Quran. I wanted to see how connected the non-believers were to Quran. When he came to the verse of sajda, Rasulullah prostrated. When he got up, he found this person prostrating as well. When the person realized what he was doing, he ran away. But he was so mesmerized by what was being said, and then seeing Rasulullah in prostration and he going to prostration, and he just realized, what did I do now? and he ran away. So the certain ayat, 14 of them, 14 places in the Quran, where it's recommended to make the sajda. For those who are able to, we recommend you to make the sajda, inshallah. So, alam tara, alam hamzatul istifham, putting it into question. Do you not, alam tara, do you not see, and Allah, that Allah يسجد له من في السماوات ومن في الأرض. So it's something prostrates to him. It's not Allah is prostrating. And Allah, when I say the word prostrates over here, there's something that prostrates to him. Lahu, for him, prostrates man, those who في السماوات are in the heavens, ومن, and those في الأرض. So everyone in the heavens and everyone in the earth prostrates to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives examples of to the extent of this submission and the prostration. Washams, the sun, wal qamar, the moon, wal jibal. Sorry, wal nujum. What is nujum? The stars. Wal jibal, mountains, plural of jabal. Wal shajar,